going to be a fun episode. We're talking about my wedding and how I've navigated through fears, which fears came up, and how that all relates to business and, of course, manifesting big money fast. Welcome to the podcast, Manifesting Big Money Fast. My name is Jeanine. I am so excited that you found this podcast or that you're tuning in to another episode. This podcast is all about manifestation, big money, energetics, spirituality, how it's all connected, and most importantly, how you can increase your bank account right now. So let's dive in today's episode. Beautiful souls, I am beyond grateful for the questions Bettina had about my wedding. And there's so many, so let's start immediately this week. The first part of your question was, how did you navigate through, is this right? Is he the right one? I deeply believe the quick answer is, this actually didn't come up for me at all. Is this right? Is he the right one? Very, very long time ago, when I didn't know anything about manifestation, nothing, vision boards, like I've never heard this. If you would have told me actually back then, I would have thought, oh, this is like witchy stuff, hocus pocus. And that was early on when I turned 20. I thought, wouldn't it be cool, and I learned this from someone in Alaska, wouldn't it be cool kind of to have a bucket list for my 20s? So instead of having a bucket list for your life, I thought, okay, like for my 20s, I'm going to have a bucket list. And one item on that list was to get married, at least in Vegas. And back then already I thought, oh, this would be fun. Why not? It was more like a joyful experience to me always, getting married. But not for the sake of, let's get married, and I would choose any man just so I can say I'm married. I always knew it had to be the right one, as in it feels aligned. I'm going to do this with this man. So for me, really, is this right? Is he the right one? The answer was just yes. In the beginning was like, yes, let's do this. The closer we've actually approached the wedding date, the more fears came up actually for me and for Edward. And looking back, I definitely see this in how we reacted. Usually there's almost never any tension between us. We say things, we mean it, it gets solved, it gets cleared. But there's never this like little bit of like almost like a bitchy vibe between us. I've never experienced this. But this actually happened before the wedding. And there are multiple times I thought, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. All of a sudden, I realized I started seeing all those little mistakes, like Edward's not putting his plates away immediately in the dishwasher after we ate, or he eats too much hot sauce. I think that's not healthy. Like really, really, really little silly things. I've never paid attention to it. And it's like, I didn't pay attention to before because I simply don't care. I don't care how much hot sauce he eats, how fast he puts the plates in the dishwasher. You know, it's like very, very, very silly things. However, what came up for me, especially like obviously reflecting myself and seeing like, hey, where's this coming from? Does this belong to me? Like, what is this actually truly about? It was more, I felt, what was stored in my subconscious, the fears, was more, I'm like, oh, if I'm doing this commitment now, I'm losing my freedom. You've just listened to the first 4 minutes of the VIP version of the podcast. By becoming a VIP member, you can listen to 3 episodes per week. You will receive early bird access to the Monday episode, so you already can listen on Sunday. And if that doesn't sound great enough yet, I've got one more. Why you should become a podcast VIP member. I'm answering every week a listener's question in the podcast. So if you have a question, drop it in the Q&A thread and receive the answer in the podcast. can't wait to see you. Simply click on the link in the show notes or go to courses.richandhappiness.com to become a VIP member.